Good afternoon, coaches. So today we are starting up with Biology of Belief book. So the main agenda of this book review, I can rather put it like not as book review, but the major takeaway would be like to understand more about the cells so that we are able to address the clinical condition with a better knowledge. So we have Neelam today with us, and she will be taking us through like how cells evolved and how the things about unicellular, multicellular, all those stuffs. So over to you, Neelam ji. Okay, I need to just a minute, just a minute. Yeah. So don't mute until you are done with. Yes.
Okay. Hi, coaches. The book here is Biology of Belief. I hope you can see this. And why are we doing this? There are three reasons. One, after reading this book, I am more correlating with Sir's lecture because he's always said that you are the person who decides your health, not the genetics. So the particular quote that I always use, you have a disease because it runs in the family. No, you have a disease because nobody runs in the family, right? So based on that quote, we are using this book. That's one. Second reason is there is no time or no limit to learning. You can learn when you want to. That is the second thing that this book has taught me. The third thing why I'm using this book is because it is going to the basics of biochemistry, which we have left a long time ago. Right? So these are the major three reasons which we'll discuss at the end of the lecture also. Ma'am, the next slide.
I clicked it. I don't know why it's not moving. Just a minute. Oh, why this is showing up? Page became unresponsive. Just a minute, Neelam.
No worries. So in the meantime, I'll just keep talking.
Yes,
So
yeah,
this
please.
guy, Bruce Lipton, he is technically a biologist. He is a biologist by his own choice. At an age of 7 year old, he was looking at the microscope, and there he was fascinated by two micro cells, the single cellular organisms. One amoeba, and second was this plasmodium. So he got so happy that he wanted that to he called them as this miniatures, like a small human beings living a life to the fullest, because they are the one who are deciding about themselves. They are the one who are deciding what to do, when to do, and exactly living the complete life. They can we call cells to be alive when they have six features. They are eating their own food, they are generating energy, they can digest that food, they can do the digestion, and finally they can divide, and they respond to stimuli. These are the six things that the cells usually do, right? Retiman's screen is not visible.
Not visible.
Mm-mm.
What is it showing now?
Holistic coach has started screen share. Double click to enter the full screen mode.
Even now it's not visible.
Done.
Okay.
Okay, this should had been the slide last, but why I'm putting it on the first is because this clearly gives an indication about genetics and epigenetics. So what Bruce Lipton did was he took single cells from the same organ, kept them in two different petri dishes, gave them to different environment. One was the happy environment, what he called a toxic environment. The cells which were kept in the happy environment were happy and were multiplying and were dividing. But the ones kept in the next petri dish, which was toxic or which had unhappy environment, they were sad and eventually they died. This was the complete analogy which made him change his mind, his thought that genes are the things, because genes are same in both the cells technically, right? The environment changed. So that was the analogy that he had done. Now, what exactly he had meant and how he discovered would be followed. Next slide. Okay, so this is a brief history about Lipton himself, that he was introduced in the background of cell biologist. He was very fascinated about the cultural dishes, okay? And this is what we have explained, that the single cell can survive as alone, but when it combines with the environment and the other cells, they start it as a cellular communities, or what we call a body. Now, this can be a single cell, this can be multicellular, this can be two-dimensional cells and three-dimensional cells. That's what he had mentioned them as. So, if we are talking about just one particular organ, we are calling it a two-dimensional space. When it is a complicated structure like ours, it is called a three-dimensional space. So, that's how he is putting everything into picture. Now, next slide. Okay, so now again, these are the titles that I had given from what I had understand about biology of belief. So cell as mini me. I can live alone as a single cellular organism, but when I enter into a 50 trillion cell, I get a name Neelam, right? That makes me live in the community. So I can survive alone. I can survive with people. So alone, I am not able to do multiple tasks, but I can still survive. But when I come in the community, I can do those tasks, and that environment makes me do other tasks as well. Okay. So it is not, I would not die alone, but eventually I am a social being. So I need to work as a in a cooperation, right? Now, what exactly does the nature means? The nature is not just me, it is everything inclusive. The kind of food I eat, the kind of season I am in, the kind of diseases I am exposed to, the kind of abuses that I'm giving my body. These are all the negative environments that I'm giving. I can have my the 7 areas of my life. I can how I'm interacting socially, how can I interact psychologically, how can I interact with the drugs or microbiome or exercises. So this all is what makes me what I am today. So this makes me as a person or as a single entity, a single organism, depends on what I respond to these stimuli that are given to me. Next slide. Ma'am. So now every picture that I'm showing is described here. In a cellular cultural experiment, Lipton noticed that it wasn't the genes alone that determined the cell behavior, but it was the environment in which I'm living. Okay, let's take an example. I am, as there is a quote in Hindi which says, "आपको आपके दोस्त बनाते हैं." You are what your company is, right? So if I have a happy friendship, if I have a happy family, if I have a happy co-workers, I would be happy. My body would be healthy. On the other hand, if I go and make a friendship with people who are alcoholic or smokers or some similar thing, then I would be something similar to them. This is one example that I'm quoting. I have one client who was too much into alcohol, too much into smoke because of his friend's company. He had changed that environment, and because of that, all he had IBS. Now, for last 3 months, he have left that company. He is accompanied by friends who are either a gym freak or a cricketer or a player. So now he has been out of IBS for last 1 month. So this is what you can be, a single cell based on the environment he's living in. So your DNA does not control you. Your DNA depends on the kind of environment that you are put into. Now, next slide. Okay, so this again example I quoted, Eureka movement. He why did he learn this? Why did he get into this book? Is the very interesting story he had. He was teaching microbiology or cellular structure two medical students. One day he was shifted to an island where people who were not from the medical fraternity, they were lawyers or some other different backgrounds or teachers. ठीक है? And they were not able to understand cell biology during first 6 months of their semester. They had four different teachers who could not teach them cell biology. Eventually, Bruce Lipton went there. He saw that the people who are in the medical school were more competitive. They were always fighting for the ranks. They were always fighting to be the first. And that is why they could not gel together. But these people living on that island where he went and taught microbiology, they were actually coexisting together. They were helping each other to actually live that moment. And when he helped them to understand this as a 7-year-old kid, they were able to understand cell. Once they understood cell, they were able to generate a niche for themselves. And everybody in that class, in spite of just reading for 6 months, could survive at the best level, and they got entry into the medical colleges. So there is where his eureka moment came, when he could understand that a single cell, if they have a best environment, they can easily go and influence the rest of the cells. So this is what is mentioned. While teaching medical students, Lipton realized that the act of explaining concept forced him to rethink the conventional biology. In this chapter, he had given multiple examples. The Darwin theory, which says that the best only can survive. Eventually, he changed his thought, which says it is not the best who can survive. It is the best who can adapt to that environment was able to survive. So he had taken multiple examples from different papers that were presented. So now there are two sects of people, one who believe in Darwin theory that only the best could survive. He had given a separate thought process that just not the best, those who can adapt and coexist can, yes, Elizabeth, thank you, survival of the fittest. So now the theory is changed to survival of those who can adapt to that environment, become the fittest. Next slide, ma'am. So this is what the chapter 1 says, that the study of how environment and perception influence gene expression. Lipton began hitting that thought, belief, and perception that what we call as internal environment can influence our biology at the cellular level. So people who think that they have cancer, their ancestors have cancer, they would have cancer. That's not the right thing. If I can take care, take precautions earlier in life, obviously we can change it. Right? In this, I had one beautiful thing. Sir had given us example. What exactly is genes? A gene is nothing but multiple lockers which have different things packed there. Your environment is the key which decide which locker we need to unlock. So that's what genetics and epigenetics means here. Now, next slide. Okay, now this will be the point of discussion we'll have. Cells are intelligent and responsive. The environment, internal as well as external. Internal may we are talking about the nutrition, the kind of food we are eating, the kind of water we are taking, and the kind of workout we are giving. Internal is what, how do we respond to the stimuli, the way the cell does. If it is a toxic environment, it can read it and it will bounce back. If it is a healthy environment, it will go and grab that movement. So our beliefs, our stress, our emotions plays a beautiful role in shaping what we will become eventually. So this genes are the destiny kind of a model. He had totally nullified it. That's why I've given this book titled Biology of Belief. He wanted to give it a title, Biology of Belief and Heal, but he had kept it as Biology of Belief. And this is the 10th edition that he had printed here. Ma'am, next slide. So this is the complete summary of chapter 1. Earlier, Bruce Lipton thought that genes are the boss of your body. But eventually, after studying the cells in that Petri dish, the first thing that we had discussed, he decided that there is nothing called fixed destiny. It is not a lock box. With this, he had shown that your environment around the cell helps you grow. Cells can change and adapt whenever they want to. Our thoughts, our beliefs, our feelings are also the part of the environment that we make for ourselves. Next slide. This is the book we are discussing here. So there are 7 chapters. What we have done so far is the prologue, introduction, and chapter 1. With the coming up chapters, we can go into the conscious efforts, the matters, and how that makes us what we are today. So it's not our what we call. It is not our fate that brings us here. It is a decision that we made in the past, which will make our future. Thank you, guys.
So
And you
guys,
can start.
yes, Neelam. So actually, I have not given the access to unmute yourself. So those who ever have questions, please raise so that I can unmute you and you can talk. As we are recording the session, I don't want any extra background noise. So please, questions? No questions?
Either I'm too good or I'm too bad.
Coaches? No, you cannot, Elizabeth. That's what. If you want to talk, you just raise your hands. I will unmute. Anyone who wish to say something, please raise your hands. I will unmute. Yes, Elizabeth, go ahead.
Neelama, that was a beautiful review of the prologue in the first chapter. Really, really nicely explained. I was just I was just wondering if you mentioned it's about the environment, you mentioned how that seems to be affecting us more than our own genes. So does that possibly mean that maybe the environment can modify genes?
Precisely, that's what. Say, for example, okay, I'll take a very simple example. People who shift from India to US, okay, their color might be a bit dark, but once they reach there, the kids are having a lighter skin tone, right? Elizabeth, if you mute yourself, then you would not be able to unmute. You have to keep on till the time.
Thank you. No, got it. Yes, right, understood.
So one thing, and now in this, there was another scientist who was working on this particular model. He's was people who tried. He even suggested this genetics and epigenetics. So it is your body would tend to change your genes based on the usage of that particular part. Say, for example, we have this appendix in our body. There is no
Yeah.
usage per se now, but it would
Yeah,
had been there someday.
there was, yeah. In the
So there
past.
was a genes that changed. Right? In this case, they did an example of rats. They used to cut the tail of rats for some generations, but that did not change. For them, the tail was not a usable thing, but you never know where and when they are using it. So it kept regrowing. So that was a very brilliant
Okay.
example that they have given for genes and you might not know the usage, but the nature knows, right?
Okay.
So both
Um,
examples are valid.
that was actually a really that was something I didn't know. I didn't know they'd done the tail cutting the tails of rats. That was a oh wow, okay. I was wondering if there's any possibility, if it is true that the environment can change the genes, then a lot of the time we say, I don't know if this is related, this might be a really silly question, But sometimes we say like, oh, that person suffered a heart attack because their father also had heart disease. Oh, that person has a history of cancer, so they also have cancer. Is there any way that the environment could be able to modify that? For example, so if a person has a family history of diabetes, they have diabetes on their father's side, mother's side, ancestors all had diabetes. Is there any way that if they change their environment, they could change their predisposition to diabetes?
Absolutely. Okay, now again, Sir had quoted very beautiful example. You had diabetes, your father had diabetes, his father had diabetes. Did his father also had diabetes?
Possibly.
Possibly not, because they were living a healthy environment or they were using their environment rightly. So
Okay.
it is not diabetes that is running in the family. There is one particular thing that you are doing a mistake. If you change that, it would not be passed on.
It could be one aspect of our lifestyle that if we change that one aspect, then even though
Abs-
we had both sides of the family diabetes, we might not get it.
See, your percentage of having diabetes increases, right? It is not that you'll definitely 100%. Okay, in my family, I'll just take my example. My father and my grandmother were obese, right?
Okay.
My sister is obese
Okay.
because she is living the same lifestyle that they had lived, right? I
Oh,
am overweight, but my kids are lean. So it is a kind of environment that we changed, right?
yes. That
Now
that
again,
yes, that is true.
you have twin in a family. Both do not have the same kind of a condition. In fact, the father and mother of both are same. If it is in a genes, then both of them should have it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Making sense?
Yes.
So
So
Neelam, I would
in
like to
those cases,
add,
yes, environment. Yes, right.
yeah. So Elizabeth, to your question, in addition to Neelam's point, see, it's very probably we can put it very simple to our clients. See, what happens is when a parent is diabetic, okay, so their family have a certain culture. They follow certain pattern. Probably the father wasn't active. Maybe he might have chosen a sedentary lifestyle. And adding to that, probably his shift timing was such that they used to sleep late, so it is not necessary or compulsion that even the kids has to follow the same late sleep time or the sedentary work culture or for following any unhealthy way of eating. Probably if one family member intervenes and say like, okay, let him come, let him sleep late, but you people sleep early, even one that kind of change will prevent these kids from getting into diabetes. At least it might postpone. Probably the father got diabetes at the age of 40, then we might be able to postpone it till 50, 60, or sometimes even, no, that could be for a lifetime. We can prevent it. Okay, that's what Neelam is trying
Even
to say. Yeah.
so, even if you had like both sides of the family having diabetes, your mother, your mother's mother, father, father's mother, parents, you could actually prevent that diabetes. Like you mentioned prolonging the time when you get it, but it could even possibly just by changing one activity, it could prevent you from getting diabetes itself.
Yes.
See, again, you know that it is a problem,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you should be more cautious of what you're doing rather than just
Yes.
accepting that fact.
Okay.
Make sense?
But yes.
See,
But it's
your
something
mother
only
has
to
it, so you
know.
are
Yes.
likely to have it 30% more. Your father
Yes.
has it, so 30% more. So, and your grandparents had it, so you are up to 90% that you would have diabetes. Now, that 10% makes a decision whether you would have it or not. At least that 10%
Yes.
is in your hand. So you change your habits
Yes.
and restrict yourself,
Okay.
right?
True. Yes, that would be the logical decision.
Makes sense.
It does make sense, yes.
So
So that would
Elizabeth,
be changing your environment, right?
we will be discussing it more in the upcoming chapters, because we all will be experiencing aha moments. That kind of research proof he has added in his book. And moving forward, you will be really fascinated. So you will easily take up even genetic disorder cases, because even the genes can be modified through the epigenetics.
Right, okay.
Okay.
That was something I was very interested in before, like the genes and the interaction with nutrition. So this is kind of renewing my interest again. Okay. Okay, thank you so
So
much. Thank you so much, Neelam, ma'am.
before you mute yourself, any other question you have?
No, I'm okay. Thank you.
Okay, right. Thank you, Elizabeth. So do we have any other question? No questions? Pin drop silence. Okay, so I guess it was very much clear, and everybody is like speechless in awe, because first time we have started with something like, yes, even genes can be altered genetically. We can reprogram through our lifestyle, through our behavior. So that is the key takeaway I feel today. And yeah, someone is raising their hands. Should I have to go for it? Yes. Yes, sir.
I mean, Ravati, you said not to speak.
Yes, sir. But you still raised your hands. I really respect that, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, exactly. What does a petri dish means, Nilam?
Sir, in terms of cell or in terms of a human being?
Now you are acting smart. Okay.
So still the question remains. Ma'am, if you want, you can stop the recording.
Yeah, yeah. Please stop the recording.
Sir,